Hi, my name is Matthew Fairfax, and I'm the co-founder of the Justice and Soul Foundation. I didn't know a lot about sex trafficking. I'd heard about sex trafficking, but it's not real. It happens in other parts of the world, and I just didn't understand how deep it was. So some of the things that I found out from her during this process was that there are about 12.3 million people that are being trafficked right now in the world. Now, by traffic, that's modern-day slavery. So what I found out is there's a lot of modern-day slavery going on right now. But what was surprising to me is that over 80% of those that are being trafficked are women, and 60% of them are children. Children under the age of 18 that were being trafficked, and they're being trafficked in all different ways, but sex trafficking is one of the biggest ones. The part that got me, that really hooked me when I started to hear these statistics was in Cambodia specifically, that the children are as young as 6 years old that are put in these brothels. But when I found out that right here in the United States, we have over 100,000 trafficked teens, and that Seattle was number 3 in the nation. And the thing that was disturbing for me is that nothing's being done in the United States really to support these young women as they're pulled out of the trafficking. When I heard this, it was like, okay, I can't sit back and just watch this happen. So I started doing a little bit of digging, and I shared with my team, here's what I heard. And a couple of my employees said, we're in. If you're going to do something with this, I want to be part of it. I want to make a difference in this. Now, all of this to tell you that it's created this underbelly in the country for a lot of this sex trafficking to take place. This is a typical house. You'll see a lot of homes in Cambodia with the tin sides or the tin roof, and sometimes if they're by water, up on the stilts because it rains a lot and floods. But this is a picture that I think really captures the dichotomy that's going on and the frustration that I saw over there. Because this is the Chinese, Japanese, some of the other countries are coming in and buying up this very precious land, and they think it's valuable. And the poor people that are living in this land have no proof that they own it, because Pol Pot destroyed all proof. So after they came back into Phnom Penh and got their homes back, now the current government is saying, you know what, you can't prove that that's yours, we want it. In fact, this was a lake, Oingkok Lake. So they came in and they said, you know, valuable property here, let's fill it in. We don't need a lake here. So this is all being filled in. And all of these homes around the side, they're tearing them down. And they're taking 3,000 to 5,000 people in the community and saying, here's the deal. We're moving you to this displacement camp 2 hours out of the city. So now they have no way of really making a living because they can't get back and forth. And what they've done is they've created this vulnerable population. They get vulnerable when they're put out there. They're desperate for food. They're desperate for anything. And then their kids, somebody comes along and says, I will help you. Give me your daughter. I'm going to take her to the factory and we'll send money home. She'll make clothes. She'll have a nice living. And the next thing you know, she's caught up in a brothel. So we went back and we said, okay, let's look at the salon industry and let's think, what could we do as a community? The beauty industry is an amazing industry, and they love fashion in Cambodia. This is a typical Cambodian salon. This was taken from the roadside. I'm standing on the road, so they're all open front. You can see that sanitation isn't big. It's a little chaotic. And the way here is taught over there is that a salon owner will take on apprentices who pay her to learn. The problem is no salon owner will teach them more than 70% of what they know. So we went back and said, okay, what could we do? And the first year we were there in 2009. We met with every non-governmental organization or NGO, which is their nonprofits, everyone we could. And we went and we looked and we told them our story, and we want to help, and we're gonna teach these girls so they can go out in the villages and do hair. And finally this one woman who's been over there for years, very smart, direct woman, said, you know what, this is a nice idea, but take your toys and go home. It's not gonna work, it's not sustainable, so just don't bother. And when we walked out, and my co-founder Lauren was just like, oh my gosh, that was horrible, that was awful. And I said, no, that was the best meeting we've had. because she was honest with us and she said it's not going to work. So we came back and we said we need to create a sustainable model. That was in 2009. So we came back and we said, what do we do with this? What we want to do with this is we want to create a high-end hair salon. So the hair salon that we want to create, it's got to have a look and feel similar to what we're in right now. That it's going to attract the wealthier Cambodians, because there are about 10 to 15% of the Cambodians that have all the money. We want to do something that is sustainable, where the salon itself could generate enough revenue that it will help offset the cost of the school. So the school is not always dependent upon donor dollars. The idea is that we will create jobs so the girls could then get skills that they can either use in our salon and make a much higher living, or they can go work in other higher-end salons, because they're starting to pop up in Cambodia, in Phnom Penh. So we could get them ready to go work in those salons. But ideally what we would love is for these young ladies to become salon stylists, but then eventually become educators, so they too can educate the girls coming into the salon. So what we're asking for is people to help educate. One of the things we need is stylists. We will, within a year from now, September 2014 is when we're hoping to open up the school. And what we're hoping for is stylists that will come over and volunteer for anywhere from a month to 3 months of their time. If somebody wants to come for 4 months or longer, we'll pay them enough to live there. Just the other thing that we need is donations. Obviously, it's a startup foundation. We're going to be building a school and salon over there, so we're going to need funds to do it. It is cheaper than opening a salon over here, but there's still a lot of cost involved. So we're looking for people that will donate time or donate money to help us get to where we need to go. Because the third thing we're looking for is advocates. And that is somebody to take the lead in your city or your community, either helping to raise awareness, raise money, coordinate events within your community. But we also need to educate our clients and spread the word about what we're doing and what's going on. I think the world doesn't know, and I know it's an ugly thing, and sometimes it's just not fun to look at. But I think when we start to look at it, what we can do is create the hope that goes with it. And that's what I want, is for us to create hope in these young girls' lives.